Once was a land of woe and strife, where the people were bereft of hope. They prayed to their gods of might and light to deliver the heroes of old. Instead they got heroes. Did you hear the quotes in my voice of moral ambiguity? They may help or may not help you at all, depends on what's in it for them. They kick and they punch and they maul and they smash, they lie and they scheme and they burn and they slash. Succeed or fail, it adds to the tale. Dungeons and Debacle starts now. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. I am your host and Dungeon Master Kevin. Going around the table, John.
No. I refuse to repeat myself. You failed. It's your fault.
And Blake.
Hi, I'm Blake, and I'll be playing Juliet, the Dragonborn eldritch knight / wizard.
And Hannah.
I'm Hannah, and I'll be playing Talia, the human rogue.
And Shane, back from the dead.
I am back just in time for post-Halloween.
And John, now that he's not going to be a dick.
I don't know that you can make that promise, but I'm playing Alunodas, Elven monkey. Mildly evil.
Alright, so the last time on Dungeons and Debacles podcast, you guys were able to obtain the diamond needed to bring Alexander back from the dead. You brought it back to the Temple of Amador, where Shar, the priestess of Tiamat, was able to release Alexander's soul from this dagger long enough to be able to raise him from the dead. After that, you rented an inn for Alexander to rest, since he's going to need a couple of days rest because the experience of being dead is kind of hard on a body. Alunodas went out to see if there was a boat to rent, and none was going up the river. He returned to the inn to find his fellow monk, Lagermouse. There they had a discussion about what was going on up in Fadel with a potential civil war, and that is where you find yourselves now. What do you want to do?
Well, we need to let Alexander rest for about a week, yes?
He's probably going to need anywhere from 3 to 4 days. Currently, he is at -4 to any check that he would need to do, which is not good.
Yeah, that is not good. But it does give me lots of time to copy some spells. And of course, we need to go and get de-aged.
Yeah, that's one thing that Shar told you, that if you wanted to have that greater restoration to get rid of that aging, that you would need to come back. Because she was all out of spells for that day.
My next question is it the next day?
Well, currently, right now, it's not. You've made it back to the end, and you haven't taken a long rest yet. Unless you want to do that.
Gotcha. Does anybody have anything they need to do today? Buying items, talking to people, checking up on the local what's...
Well, you do have a bunch of loot that you took from the Silverlight Manor, and I believe Talia was wanting to see if she could find a locksmith. Currently,
a blacksmith.
Or blacksmith, yes. Yeah. Currently, it's probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Alright, so Talia, why don't you get your stuff from blacksmith? Go there. Actually, while you're out, can you take Alunodas and sell some of the stuff that we got from the Silverlight Manor? We have like an entire tableware set. We have, we still have loot from the paladin and guys, which you never gave us, Kevin. I don't know what that all was.
Did you guys loot him?
Yeah, remember? We looted him and you said, oh, we'll go over it later.
Okay.
So, it is later now, but we can do later, if that makes any sense.
I mean, we can do it now.
If we've got time, by all means, I will write this all down.
Quick note, I think that perhaps we should sell it in a different town.
Well, I think we can sell actually all of it here. It would make us look like heroes. We killed the Mad Paladin, we cleansed the cursed house.
And stole all of the stuff.
Well, yeah. What do you expect?
I don't know if they're gonna know what kind of stuff he has. I don't think it's like trademarked or anything.
Give me a... Well, I mean, you could look at... You would have pulled a full plate armor off of him. And it's pretty obvious that there's a holy symbol of Arathis on the front breastplate.
I'll just buff that out.
Is it painted or embossed?
It's engraved.
Let's see, would Juliet like to keep the plate armor? Maybe hammer it out a bit to fit her scaly form?
I mean, if I remember correctly, from the haunted house, there was also a suit of full plate that we retrieved from the iron golem, something like that.
You found it in a chest in a hidden compartment under the stone flooring.
So I guess I should check if either of them are magical. If one of them's magical, clearly I'm going to be keeping that one. If not, I think I'm going to take the one with the Arathis then, because I already have this whole Arathis persona going on. So we can keep up that charade?
Either one works.
Give me a Arcana check, Juliet.
Can I just cast Detect Magic?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I will do that. My last spell remaining.
Well, if you're going to use your last spell, you might as well use it when you're not needing it, right?
That's true.
All right, so the full plate that the paladin was wearing, the full plate of Arathis, is not magical. The full plate that you found in the Silverlight Manor is.
Okay. Then I am going to have to, I think, wait until tomorrow to identify it, because I am not going to fall for the same stuff Adel did.
Can you cast Identify as a ritual?
Yes. Oh, that means I don't need it prepared, right?
Right.
Then I will absolutely spend an hour doing that.
Okay, so we'll say that you spend an hour casting that, and this is still full plate, and it has these brass inlays all over it, and on the left side of the breastplate there is a lion, and you know that this full plate has fire resistance.
Oh, that's actually pretty disappointing because I already have fire resistance. And they
Does
don't
it stack? Oh.
No. But I do like brass inlays, so I think I'm going to keep that one. You guys can sell the full plate of Arathis, maybe get, an extra buck because you're doing a good deed? I don't know.
So what else you found on that paladin was a greatsword, and
okay.
That is magical. There is a ring that you found in the Silverlight Mansion in a hidden compartment or a false bottom to one of the drawers. That is magical.
Okay.
And that's it. You found, I think it was a total of 150 gold on the paladin. He was also...
I do remember you telling us about the gold, so we actually already have that calculated.
And he was wearing a cloak, I don't know if you would have taken it or not, that has the symbol of Arathis on the back of it.
I'm going to say probably not.
Okay.
So, if no one's opposed, I'm going to cast Identify Ritual, which is going to take a while, probably the rest of the day at that point, identifying this ring and greatsword.
Fire away.
But I'm going to say before night, you guys should definitely go and sell at least some of this stuff. We have an entire tableware set. We have the full plate of Arathis there. And I guess we have a whole bunch of gems and jewelry if you guys want to sell it for hard gold. Assuming you can find buyers for all of this.
I kind of wouldn't keep the flatware. I mean... we deserve to be fancy sometimes. We're doing good work.
That'll probably cut into the value of a whole tableware set being a partial, but that's fine, I guess.
I mean, I'm including the silverware and the... We deserve to... We're fancy.
If you want to carry around a whole set of china and or silver plates, be my guest.
We have a cart.
All right.
Well done.
So we're keeping the tableware set. That means the jewelry, the gems, and the full plate.
Okay.
Before we sell the gems, is it if I can get the blacksmith to inlay what I want him to make, can I keep them?
Isn't the thing that you're wanting him to make something that you hide in your sleeve?
And?
Nobody's ever going to see the gems.
So?
Yeah, okay. Kind of making it all fancy.
Can be on the inside.
If you want to, I mean, we have plenty of gold. I'm sure we'll need a bunch of it, but there's nothing that I need it for. I don't think anyone else needs. Actually, Alexander might be the only person who would want these gems to decorate himself with all pretty stuff, since he's a pretty elf.
I do enjoy gems.
Alexander's a human.
I am a human, but it does not change the fact that I love gems.
Human elf, you guys look the same.
That's racist.
All right, Uncle Luno, let's head to market.
To market to sell some stuff.
So while you guys are gone, we'll say that Juliet takes the next 2 hours to cast Identify, and the ring, I think it was a gold ring with a jade stone, is a ring of message that can cast message once per day. And then the great sword is a steel great sword with a bronze hilt and pommel. That is a +1 great sword, and if it is attuned by a paladin, cast divine favor once per day.
Excellent.
All right. So, Alunodas and Talia, I guess you're leaving the inn?
Yes.
Okay, so
Indeed we are.
you walk downstairs. Jared, the barkeep, is still behind the bar, and at this point, there's really nobody in here except for 4 humans that appear to be drinking pretty heavily. They look road-worn and dirty, and it looks like they're getting pretty deep in the cups and being kind of loud. Bartenders, trying to get them to calm down. So you leave the inn. Where are you headed?
There is a market. I don't know if we know where it is, though. I'm sure Talia clocked it.
So the market you would have passed Alunodas when you went to the docks. It would be this area down here. There is a stable. There is kind of a warehouse right here. You are going to see a general store over here near the river. You are going to see a vendor selling horse supplies like grain and hay and things of that nature.
Once again, I'll let Talia take point.
I would actually, I don't know where, because Juliet's normally the one who sells all this stuff. So I don't know where we would sell it. Like, what would the best stall be to sell the stuff at?
I guess there's a jewelry stall we could sell the jewelry at, right?
You guys might want to look for maybe a Mad Cedric's Emporium.
Yeah, is there a Mad Cedric's Emporium?
You didn't see one from where you've been in town. They kind of stand out because they're their whitewashing and gaudy signs, and you haven't seen one in this town.
I'll just look for a jewelry store first.
All right, give me an investigation check.
9.
All right, so you spend the better part of probably 2 hours walking around this town trying to find something like that, and you're not finding anything, and then you remember Shar saying that, nobody in this town would probably have anything like that was that expensive for you to even purchase on the jewelry or the diamond that you were trying to get.
We should, what else do we have to sell besides the jewelry? I don't remember what all Juliet was keeping. Armor? Okay, well, then we'll head to the blacksmith. I feel like that's the best place to do that at.
Okay, so you cross the stream down here to this squat building, and it's kind of not hard to miss because of the black smoke rolling out of this thing. So you travel up in the courtyard, and you can see some appears to be like some apprentices out here that are shoeing some horses.
Excuse me, where could I find the person who runs this place?
Master Smith?
You'd be looking for Master Smith Veteran. Just follow the sounds of the hammering. And
thank you very much.
And he points a thumb towards the forge.
I'll nod my thanks and head towards the forge.
Okay, so you start heading in side of this, and the door is open, and you just walk in, and inside is dark, and there's a low glow from a forge in here, and you're going to see a squat dwarf with black hair and just thick and rippling with muscles. He's got his shirt off, and he's just wearing a blacksmith's apron, and it looks like he
Just?
and breeches. And he is currently working what appears to be a longsword, and you just hear these tings as he's smacking this metal.
I'm gonna raise my hand and say, excuse me.
He says, I'll be with you just a second. He takes a few more blows at this thing and picks up some tongs and takes the sword and puts it back into the forge to heat it up again. And he turns around and says, what do you need, little gal?
Well, first, I'm gonna, wave at Alunodas. We had a set of armor to sell, if you were interested.
I'm the one usually doing the selling, but I'll see what
Which is why we thought you could sell this.
I'll take a look.
And we'll lay it out.
So, you take it out, and he studies it for a second, and then he runs his fingers over the symbol of Arathis on this, and he says, where'd you get this?
Madman who was attacking everyone who passed by down south.
The Mad Paladin?
That's the one.
Can't say I'm sorry to see him go. If you ask me, I think he did everyone in this town a favor.
That's what we were trying to do. Well, mostly we were just trying not to get killed by a mad paladin. But, helping people is a good thing.
Well, I'll give you a fair price for it, considering you did us such a favor with taking him out. It will take some work to hammer this holy symbol out. And he thinks for a second. I'll give you 1,400 gold for it.
Oh, that's more than fair. Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other business I could be doing for you?
Yes, actually, I was wondering if you would be able to build something for me. Two somethings, actually. A match set.
Okay.
And then I'm going to describe what I'm looking for, the device that would hold a set of daggers that could, push them into my hands so I could stab them, but hide them in my sleeves.
So, you explain what you're wanting built, and he strokes his beard for a moment as he thinks, and says, yes, I think I could build that, but it won't be cheap, and it'll take a lot of time to do.
How much would it be?
Well, I figure with custom work like that, with fine details and machinery and the springs that'll take, well, all of that's custom work. So, maybe 1,200 gold? Or we could just do a trade and call it even for the armor.
I'll look at Alunodas. Does that seem fair, or should I use my own gold?
I think it's fair. I mean, you're the one who killed the paladin, right? Possibly.
I was, actually. And then I'll ask how much...
Do you say that in front of the dwarf?
I think so.
And he says, you killed the paladin?
I had to learn how to be tough. Far younger than I should have.
He's fearsome.
Well, I wouldn't expect something mighty out of such a small package, but who am I to talk? Look at me. Tell you this. Maybe we do a trade for the armor, and I give you 200 gold.
That seems fair. And I'm gonna pull out. We had at least two emeralds, right?
I don't know what's in your
no
inventory.
idea.
We had 1,500 gold pieces worth of jewelry. I did not mark down the individual gems. Or excuse me, we had 1,200 of gems. Sorry, I didn't think we were going to be using them for anything other than money.
I actually don't remember us getting a list. It was just, if I remember correctly, just 1,200 gold worth of gems with that were emerald, ruby, and sapphire, like emeralds, rubies, sapphires, that kind of thing.
Yes, that was correct.
So
Well, they're poison daggers, so obviously it's going to be emeralds.
right. So I'm gonna pair out a pair of similar or same size emeralds and say, would you be able to inlay these into the at the wrist?
And he holds out his hand for you to give him the gems.
I'll pass them over.
So he takes them and fills them in his hand, and he picks them up and looks at them in the forge light and says, I think I could do something with these. Mind you, I'm no silver or goldsmith. I work in steel. But I think I can make it work.
I mean, really, I just want I want something shiny and pretty on these things that are going to be hidden, because they should be pretty, right? And I know you're going to do amazing work. I like shiny things.
Alright. Is this deal agreeable to you? It should take me about 3 days if this is all I'm doing.
Yes, that's agreeable to me. Alunodas?
That's fine. We have to wait in town until our companion recovers.
Alright, it's a deal then. Seamus, come in here and finish up this sword. I've got a new special order. And you see one of the apprentices outside that was shoeing a horse come in and start grabbing the tongs and pulling this long sword out that Farron was working on and start speeding it. Farron's going to say, if there's not anything else, I need to start drawing up plans.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Master Farron.
Thank you very much, Master Farron. We'll see you in a couple of days.
And what's your name?
Jessica.
Jessica. Alright.
We're staying at the inn.
Which one?
I don't recall the name, but I give him the name of our inn.
Okay, it's the Mountain Rest.
The Mountain Rest.
And he says, come back here and it should be ready in 3 days. If you don't show up in 3 days, I'll have one of my apprentices come and fetch you.
Sounds good, sir.
Alright, so, I guess you're leaving the blacksmith. Where are you going now?
See, there's the smith, the jewelry. I don't think there was anything else we wanted to sell.
You could ask around.
You'd probably get a better price for the jewelry in Faydale anyway. Bigger city, better market.
Give me an intelligence check.
Wait, Alunodas wouldn't know that. So, he wouldn't say it.
Okay.
So it's up to Talia if she wants to look around some more, try and find a place to sell the jewelry.
I actually think that we should hold on to that till the next place, because even if we do find a place that we could sell the jewelry to, given the economic status of this area, I don't think that they'd be able to give us a fair price. Or unload it, for that matter. That being said, I would like to see if there's a leather worker around so that I can have them make the belt that I'm looking for.
Okay.
Not a problem with me.
So, you can either ask around, or I mean, you could even ask Master Theron if there's somebody around here that does that.
I'll ask Master Theron. I'll say, Master Theron, one more thing. Is there a leather worker nearby, or is that something that you can do?
I don't really work in leather. The man that I get it from is Harris. It's just right down the street here, about 3 houses down to the right. He does some tanning too, but most of his work is creating leather work such as, leather armor and belts and tack and harnesses.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. And I'll head towards the door. Oh, sorry, say again?
He says, all right. So you walk out of the forge and you go south here about 3 houses down. And you're going to notice, give me a perception check. So
Well,
it's
that's got a 20.
Alunodas, before you even get close to the house, you are going to know which direction it is because you start getting this strong smell of urine that comes from tanning.
Yep, dog shit and leather.
Yep. You walk down the street, and the smell is getting closer, and you are going to see this squat building that's 1 story tall, and one side of it is mostly open, and there are these wooden poles that are set up kind of like scaffolding, and you see animal hide out here curing.
Yeah, this must be the plate.
Talia apparently has allergies to something in the area. Her nose is all stuffed up. She couldn't smell it. She got a 2 on her perception.
So you walk up and you're going to see a sign out in the front yard of this that's in common that says leather and tanning.
I guess we walk up to the door and knock?
Alright, so you knock, and a few seconds later, there's this human man who comes to the door. It kind of looks pretty filthy. Looks like he hasn't showered in a couple days, and like the smell of all the tanning supplies and leather is just coming off of this man. And he's going to look down at you and say, "Yeah, what you want?"
I was looking to have a belt made.
Yeah, we got plenty belts you can buy here, or we can do custom.
I needed it to have, hold on a second.
6, I think.
Just 5, because 2 of them are going to be at my wrist. 5 dagger sheaths?
Yeah, we can do that. Is it for you?
Yes.
Well, I'll need to take your measurement. Hold on just a second. And he's going to disappear back into the house. He says, "You can come in, or I can come back out."
Careful, Talia. He might be one of those lady killers.
Talia's just
Apparently,
going to
they
put
don't
her...
care about those.
Talia's going to facepalm. Uncle Luno, that is not what lady killer means. But we'll wait out here, sir. I'm going to raise my voice for the last part.
Sort yourself. It won't be just a second. And about 15 seconds goes by, and he comes out, and he's got this rope that appears to have like these measuring lines on it. And he says, "Will this be for you?"
It'll be for me, yes.
Alright, and then do you want this as a belt or a bandolier?
I never thought of a bandolier. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna look at at Alunodas and say, Uncle Luno, what do you think would be better?
Well, a bandolier would be easier to sling on and off, but it also might get in the way if you're doing any of those fancy dodges you have to do. Could a bandolier stay on?
I mean, if it's slung across, one shoulder and then down underneath one arm.
Basically go with what you think would make Talia look cool.
Also, a bandolier would probably grow better with me.
True.
Right?
If you think Talia is going to grow.
I mean, I hope so. She's still young. She's still going to be taller than
And he's going to say,
4'4".
"Well, if you're going to be keeping it for any amount of time, it might be kind of awkward once you start budding."
Oh, this awkward conversation. Yeah, we'll go with the belt, sir. Thank you for the observation. And she's just gonna blush.
Just trying to be helpful.
I appreciate it, sir. It's my own embarrassment. You're just being honest and helpful. I appreciate it.
So, he's going to walk over to you, and he's going to take this string, and he says, "All right, up, lift your arms."
She'll lift her arms.
And he's going to take the rope and puts it around your waist, and he's going to say, "Well, is this good? Will you be wearing it higher or lower?"
I'll probably be wearing it right at the hip.
Okay, so he moves the string down and says, "About here?"
That looks good.
All right, I got your measurement. And any particular hide you would like me to use?
Something sturdy but soft.
Cow do.
That sounds good then.
All right, and your daggers, how long are they? Are they about the same size, or are yours like belt knife size?
I will, assuming that I have them on me, I'll just pull them out from the different places that I've tucked them, and show him the daggers that I have that I'm going to be putting there. So I'm actually going to put my two all three throwing daggers on my belt, as well as the adamantine and the fine dagger.
So as you start like pulling all these daggers out from all these different places on your body, you just see this man's eyes get wider and wider, like, where are all these daggers coming from? And why does this little girl have so many daggers?
I like to collect. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, could I get only 4 on there? And could I get, can you make boots that I could put with a dagger, for the adamantine dagger? And I'm going to point out the one that I'm talking about.
So you want boots too?
If you could, if that's something that you think that you could do, a boot with a dagger sheath in it, and then 4 sheaths on the belt.
All right. Just show me which daggers you want where.
So I'll show him the fine dagger and the 3 daggers of throwing for the belt, and then the adamantine dagger for the boot.
All right. So he takes measurements of all these things, and he says, I think I've got what I need. The belt won't take very long, but the boots may take a bit longer to make. I'll get some measurements for your feet. And he motions you to stick your foot up on his thigh.
I'll put a hand on Alunodas's arms to steady myself and put my foot up on him.
So he takes that string again and takes some measurements of your foot. He says, all in all with the belt and boots, probably be about, I want to say 2 days.
That sounds reasonable. About how much would it be?
With a custom order like this, let's say 25 gold pieces.
I'm going to look a bit shocked and say, that sounds very reasonable. Thank you, sir.
All right. And what's the name for the order?
Jessica.
Jessica. Okay. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's it. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Well, I'll get to work. And he's going to turn around and go in this house and close the door.
Okay, could we go now?
Yes, Alunodas, we can go.
It's just that they keep killing animals here. I don't like it very much.
It's understandable, I suppose. I guess we'll head back to the inn.
Okay. So around this time, you guys have been gone several hours, so now it's probably about 6 o'clock in the evening. You walk back in the mountain rest, and the same 4 humans that were in there earlier are much drunker, and they're like playing games on the table, like stabbing at their fingers with daggers. And you just see Jared, the bartender, at the back of the room, with this worried look on his face. And at this point, they're getting like really rowdy. So you going back upstairs?
I'd actually wait. Did he let Abbott upstairs with me?
You haven't asked. I would assume he would be out in the stables with the horses.
At this point, I don't think it's a matter of anybody letting Talia do things. Except maybe me and Juliet, but even with us.
I'll go out to the stables and spend some time training Abbott for like 2 hours.
Okay. What are you trying to train him to do?
So he has quiet down. I'd like to continue working on stay.
Okay, give me a animal handling check.
18.
All right, so he appears to be getting this finally after several sessions. So we'll say over the course of 2 hours, you think that he's got that one down.
Excellent. I'll head back up to the rooms.
Okay. So you walk up to the rooms, and appears that Nifron's got his door closed.
I'm gonna look around and knock on Nifron's door.
All right, so you knock on the door, and before you can even get the third knockout after rapping on it 4 times, the door opens, and Nifron looks out, expecting someone taller, and then looks down at you and says, "Yes, what do you want?"
I was wondering if you might be willing to just teach me.
Teach you?
Well, you seem to.
Teach you what?
You seem to be really good at the whole stabby thing, and I was wondering if you'd be willing to teach me what poisons are best in what situations, or and she's just gonna stop. She didn't think this through entirely. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing.
And
just gotta add that Alunodas is definitely not here for this. He disappeared into his own room while she was training at it.
So Nifron's going to stick his head out the door and then look down both sides of the hallway and say, "Come in."
She'll walk in.
So you walk in, and he closes the door behind him, and he goes over and sits down on the bed and crosses his legs, looks at you for a while, and says, "What is it you would wish to know?"
I have all of these poisons, and I'm gonna tell him all about I have the spider poison, and I have the manicore poison, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just, what should I use in what situation, and when should I not use poison? Is that something you can teach me?
And you say manicore poison, and his eyes get wide, and he says, "Where did you get that? Can I see it?"
She'll pull it out of one of her pouches, and say, Alunodas, or not Alunodas, Adel had it. I don't know where he got it.
So he's going to take this vial, and he's going to hold it up to the lamplight, and open the stopper, and take a smell of it, and you see his nose wrinkle up, and he says, "This is a powerful poison indeed here, girl. Be very careful with this. As to when you should use poison, never use it on anything that's not, I don't want to say humanoid, but things you know that probably won't be immune to it, such as non-magical creatures. Now, I wouldn't use this on anything that you would find out in the Feywild, as it'll probably be immune to it, but say your average bandit, yes, it'll probably do well."
And what's the best way to apply it to a dagger?
And he says, "Well, if you have some time, the best way to do it is to take a cloth and apply it evenly over the blade. But if you're on combat, the best way is probably just to take it and put it in your sheath and then dip the dagger inside. But you want to go deep, so the poison has a way to work into the bloodstream. Usually slashing someone with it doesn't work all that effectively. So if you're using poison, you want to stab, and you want to stab deep."
And how many, for example, and I'm going to hold up one of the vials of spider poison I have, how many uses do I have of this, or is this just one use?
Is it all in one bottle, or do you have multiple vials?
It says I got 6 vials of spider poison.
Alright, so each one of the vials is probably about the size of your pinky finger. And he says, "I wouldn't use any less of each of one of these for each stroke."
The manicore poison, I actually don't know what size that was.
It's about the same size. And if I remember correctly, I think that poison did 3d6 poison damage. And then there was a DC Constitution save of 13, or be paralyzed. And I think there's just one use of that.
What? I collected the spider venom myself. Are there other creatures out there that I can collect venom from? And if so, what?
There's all sorts of manner of creatures out there, from spiders to scorpions, even some worms. And then magical creatures such as this manticore The poisons are much more potent.
Would they be considered poisons, or are they venoms?
He is going to say, tomato, tomato. I know what you're
I
getting
suppose
at.
in this case.
Tomatoes aren't poisonous. That's a rumor. It's a myth. It's
Tomatoes and peaches are poison. It is well known.
Well,
That's
tomatoes.
an urban fantasy legend.
Tomatoes and potatoes are both part of the belladonna family. Fun fact. That's why people thought that they were poisonous when they were brought over from the New World.
Well, the leaves are definitely poisonous.
And they would
You
react
wanna
with
carve-
lead, or I guess whatever they used to use would react with their stuff and generate a neurotoxin of some kind. It was very bad. Very minor, but very bad.
Anyway, back to the thank you, Nifron. I appreciate it, because this is stuff that interests me, and figured you were the best person to learn it from.
Yes, I wouldn't go around talking too much about it unless it's with people of, let's say, ill repute. Most normal folks don't take kindly to talk of poisons.
Most normal folk are stupid and wrong.
I guess that's all. Is there any other wisdom you can think of to pass on?
Stay alive
Uh,
and kill people before they can kill you.
I mean, that's what I've been trying to do.
And so far, you've been doing a good job.
I'll take that as a compliment and leave, sir. Have a great night.
He
She's
nods.
gonna walk towards the door.
Let's see. Alunodas would like to wander up to the Temple of Ilmater to have some conversations with Shar and Lagras.
Okay. You walk up to the temple, and by this time, it is around 6:30 or so, and the sun's getting pretty low in the sky. And you enter the temple, and Lagermouse and Brakul are upstairs.
First, I'd like to go on up to Lagermouse, not Lagermouse, God.
That's what you said.
Lagermouse, not Lagermouse.
I heard Lagermouse. That's what I'm calling him from now on.
This is your fault, John.
I spelled it out and gave you enunciation and everything.
And then you couldn't remember
Just
what it
bad
is.
Portuguese.
All right.
All right. So, to Lagermouse. Brother, I think we need to prepare for the coming war. Last time we spoke, I suggested maybe you should start a school. I would like to repeat that suggestion. Just because we're going to need more soldiers to help generally. We're going to need more people willing and able to fight for our mistress, both before and after her return. I don't think I could order you to do this, but I would like to repeat the suggestion.
Brother, that hasn't been my directive yet.
If you wish, then I could use... I have this from the Harbinger. I think that I could override any orders, but again, I wouldn't like to order you to do this thing. I would want this to be of your own free will.
As much as I would like to do this, it may draw too much attention to us here in this town. They're not exactly ruin-fearing folks around here.
Well, what I'm thinking is that with the excellent groundwork you've already laid, with the hostility to Arathis, and now with our understanding that the haunted house was owned and haunted by a member of the Vanguard, I'm thinking we might not necessarily get people to join Ruin, but be willing to oppose those forces. We might have to be a bit more subtle in ways that I myself wouldn't be very good at.
I'm not a strategist either, brother. What did you have in mind?
Not necessarily declaring that the monastery is for Ruinaxis, but that it be about teaching the townsfolk to defend themselves against the forces that would seek to control them and murder them, like that paladin.
That's not a bad idea. Start training the townsfolk and the young ones to defend themselves from
attacks on the town from the various monsters, but that might be a hard sell because, well, this is a sleepy little town. The most excitement they've had here in decades was when that paladin came through.
Yes, but they've heard rumors of things. Might be possible. I'm not saying that it would have to be a large school, or even that you would teach all of them, but I think even a few young ones would make an excellent addition. Something to consider, not necessarily, I don't know, just something to consider.
Yes, but they're going to need some motivation. Do you think it would be possible for you to stage an attack on the town?
It might be difficult to do so while maintaining our posture as the people who saved them from the paladin and cleansed the Vanguard haunted house.
Well,
maybe we could drive some monsters down from the hill.
Obviously, you would have to disguise yourself, but they're soft and weak here. They need some motivation. Otherwise, why would they bother to learn to defend themselves? The wall and gate has protected them for all these years.
That is something I'll have to discuss with the group. I'll consider ways we might help with motivation, but keep in mind the possibility of setting up a school.
Yes, I think the school is a great idea, but I need some motivation for them to want to learn to defend themselves. As I've said, they're soft and lazy now.
Yes, I will work on ways we might motivate them.
You think about it, brother, and get back to me.
I will. Then I'll head down to Shar.
So you head down the steps, and you are going to see Shar in a cot, and she is snoring heavily.
I will not wake her.
She's all tuckered out from raising the dead.
That's understandable. I guess I'll head back to the inn.
So you head back to the inn. This is probably about an hour later. And those 4 people are still in there. And they're raising hell and really drunk now. You also see what appears to be a husband and wife in here sharing a meal that are awkwardly looking at these 4 patrons. And you're getting ready to walk up the steps, and this one human in front with this, he's got this greasy blonde hair and a greasy beard. He's wearing leather armor and has a short sword at his hip. And you hear him yell, "I'll tell you, I have enough to drink. I've given you enough gold for all of us to have our fill." And you're going to hear Jared, the bartender, say, "I'll give you your money back, but you need to go. This isn't that kind of establishment. There's plenty of places to drink around town. Just go down to the docks. That's probably more for your kind." And drunk blonde guy's going to say, "What's that supposed to mean? Is my gold not good enough for you?" And Jared's, the bartender's going to say, No, I don't want no trouble. I just want you to go. You're disturbing my other guests. Please, sir, leave." And then drunk guy says, "Well, we'll leave when we're ready to leave, right, Ben?" And then dirty blonde-haired man reaches across the bar and grabs the bottle from Jared's hand and smacks him in the face like a bitch. And Jared recovers and tries to look tough, and he says, "Well, I'm going to go fetch the town god." But you hear his voice crack, like he's not so sure about it. And dirty blonde guy says, "The god's not going to do shit. We're taking over the inn for the night. Go to bed, barkeep. Everything's on the house, right? Right?" And you see Jared kind of lower his head, and he's going to take his towel off his shoulder and throw it down on the bar and start to walk away.
That's gonna sigh. I'm going to need to know, I can't remember how long it's been since we did any fighting. Have we had a long rest or a short rest or anything?
You took a short rest when you got back to the inn.
Okay, because I'm just trying to remember, how many chi points I have. Is this a fight that I could feel like getting into? How many hit points do I have? Things like that.
I don't know. How many hit points did you have?
Well, I know how many are written on my sheet, but it doesn't automatically coordinate between this sheet and the thing.
Well, you did get taken down, so you would have been able to spend half your hit die because they took you out when the ghost possessed your body.
That's right. And, we did have a couple of fights there. Darn it, I just don't... So there's 4 drunk humans and me.
Give me a perception check.
21.
Alright, so you're sizing these guys up, and there are 4 humans, and they don't look like they're caravan guards or anything like that. They look like they're probably just some people that were moving some goods, or they may even be, like riverboat folk or something like that. But to you, they don't look that tough, and they're extremely drunk at this point.
Alright, I'm going to walk up. I'm going to put my hand on the wrist of the guy who grabbed the bottle. I'm going to say, hey, you know that house that's really, really haunted?
No.
Really? Because there's a house around here that's incredibly haunted. People who go in there die.
I don't know about no house. I'm not from here, elf.
Neither am I. And yet I walked into that house. I saw about a dozen corpses. All horrifically dead.
So what's that make you a funeral director?
No, it makes me the guy who walked into a house full of corpses, killed the things that killed those people, and walked out.
Oh, so you're a ghostbuster, huh? And then you hear all the other men start laughing.
No, I'm a killer. I kill. Very, very well. I recommend you leave this in before I kill you.
Kill me. I'd like to see you try, elf.
And I'm going to punch the guy. A lot.
Can any of us hear him from upstairs?
Give me a perception check. You hear some like, sounds like loud voices, but they're kind of not, you can't really distinguish them from what you heard earlier with these rowdy jackasses downstairs. Alexander, you got a crit, but I think you're probably asleep at this point, but you would have been woken up by this shouting downstairs.
I guess I'm awake. Just hearing like loud noises downstairs.
Yeah, sounds like some people yelling at each other.
Would it be reasonable for me to go downstairs to see what's happening?
I mean, maybe. I mean, it doesn't really sound different than, what you heard going on earlier. Just these guys downstairs being rowdy.
It'll get louder in a second.
Juliet, give me a perception check.
That is a 14. I'm finding my... Don't worry, I'm here.
What time is this happening? Because would I still be out with Abbott?
This
or walking in at that time?
Actually, yeah, you would. So this would be about 6:30, 7 o'clock. So you... Okay,
so I'd be still out. I'd still be out with Abbott.
Yeah. Juliet, you would hear some yelling downstairs, and you think you hear Alunodas' voice.
Oh no, Alunodas has done something.
What about Nifron?
Let's see.
He's not a PC. We don't know anything about what he does.
No, but, if he shows up, that wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Yeah, but it also depends on whether or not he cares.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He got an 8.
Even if he heard, he probably still wouldn't give a shit. Let's be honest.
Alright, so,
Juliet is going to head downstairs, by the way.
Alright, so I'm going to give you a surprise round, Alunodas, as you punch asshole leader here in the face.
Alright, time to punch. Alright, actually I'm going to use my bonus action to activate my shoes. And then an attack. It's only a 15.
That hits.
Alright, for 7 damage. 15 on the second one for 8 more damage. Only 13 on the third.
That'll miss.
Alright. And let's see. I think I'll just stay where I am for the moment.
Alright, so this guy's shit-talking you, and you basically just punch him twice in the face, and you are going to see him stumble back and fall into a stool that crumples underneath him as he falls on his ass on the ground, and his head hits the bar. And you see him try to stand up, and he falls back down, probably from the impact of your punches and the effects of the alcohol, because they've been drinking a long time. And now let's go ahead and roll initiative. Tonight there's gonna be a bar fight.
Should I roll in as well?
Yeah, go ahead and put your initiative in.
I will throw my token down, and you can tell me when I actually make it down the stairs. Because Juliet is in no hurry. Why did that not roll? Oh, there we go. 10.
Alright, I want to move these around in initiative order, but I'm going to put you at the bottom of the initiative because they're all in this fight right now. And you're just now coming down the steps. So first up is Asshole Leader. He is going to stand up, and he is going to pull out his short sword and say, "Should not done that, elf. There's 4 of us and just the one of you."
You want to go get some friends? Make it fair?
And at that, you're going to see his eyes narrow in anger, and he's going to pull out his short sword and scream and charge at you. So his first attack is going to be a 26.
Wow, that'll hit.
For 4 damage. And then he is going to swing again, and that is a 13.
That will definitely miss.
So he lunges out, and he kind of catches you off guard because you're like, well, a guy that looks that drunk shouldn't be moving that quickly. And so he gets a little piece of you, and then he's going to pull the short sword back again and stab at you and miss. Next up is Asshole number 2. He is going to pull a mace from his side and run at you. That is a 22.
That'll hit as well.
That is for 3 damage. You're up next.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and use a cheat point to do Step of the Wind so that I can disengage. Hop around over here so I'm standing in the corner of the bar. And now I'm going to attack the Asshole Leader again. And just FYI, I'm pulling my punches so that they hurt but don't kill.
Okay.
So now my attacks. First attack is a 19 to hit.
That hits.
That'll be 10 damage.
Alright.
23 for 10 more damage.
Alright.
And my third attack is another 23 for 9 more damage.
Alright, so you disengage and do like this somersault through these 2 guys that were flanking you into the corner of this bar. And Asshole Leader is going to turn around, and as he does, you punch him twice in the face and then take your fist and like smack him on the top of the head, and you're going to see him crumple like a rag doll to the floor.
Going to sneer at him and then fold my arms, look at the others, and say, "You really want to walk away now."
This asshole number 2 over here by Asshole Leader is gonna scream at the other guys and say, "We can't let him do this to us." And he's gonna, number 3 over here is gonna say, "Yeah, that's right." And he's gonna drunkenly stumble over here beside you, and he's gonna pull out a dagger and try to stab you. That's a crit fail.
Really?
So that's get over here. Attacker's pulled 1 square, but he's already up against you, so that does nothing. Alright, Asshole number 1's up. He is going to try to jump up on this bar, but he jumps up and like his feet slip off the edge and he falls face first, and he's going to start crawling on his hands and knees over beside you, and he is going to attack with advantage. That is a 19.
That will miss thanks to my boots.
All right. Juliet, you're up.
So Juliet comes down the stairs, and I guess she is met with the sight of Alunodas fighting off these guys, one already on the floor. Damn.
Yeah, so you look around the room, and you see one guy on the floor, and him surrounded by these 3 ragged, dirty-looking humans. And at this point, Jared, the barkeeper, you could see him, like, over here, peeking out of this door, watching what's going on.
Alright, Juliet is going to double move, or I guess use the dash action to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a whole bunch of squares.
Just move 5 and cast a spell.
I don't have any spell slots left, remember?
I thought you could do identify and such as a ritual.
I did not cast Detect Magic as a ritual because I am a dum-dum. That is it for Juliet.
All right. So at this point, Alunodas, you could see Juliet coming down the steps. Asshole number 2 is up. That's a 16.
That's a miss.
And that's a 17. That misses too.
Yep.
Okay, you're up.
Alright. I think I am going to do Step of the Wind to disengage again. And I'm going to hop up on the bar. Hop over the bar, in fact, to get behind Asshole 1. Don't know how much of my move that would take.
That would
I have a lot of moves,
take...
so I figure it's okay.
Well, the jumping up on the bar and back down, that would be considered difficult terrain, but you've got plenty of movement.
Yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to attack Asshole 1. 18.
That hits.
8 damage. 21 for 9 more. And 25 for 9 more damage. That's a total of 26 damage on Asshole 1. Again, non-lethal.
Alright, so you do this cartwheel basically over this bar, land on your feet, spin around, and then punch this guy like in the kidneys 3 times, as he hasn't been able to react and spin around to face you. Asshole number 3 is he's going to come over here and he's going to try to climb up on the bar to get at you, but he falls and falls backward and hits his head on the ground, and that's going to be his turn as he failed his athletics check terribly. Asshole number 1, you punch him in the kidneys and he falls down to his knees, and then he's going to flip his legs over the bar to sit down and then jump down on the ground and attack you. That's a 16.
Miss.
And at 23.
Okay, that one will hit.
So he gets 1 lucky shot in for 8 points of damage.
Damn.
Juliet, you're up.
Fantastic. Juliet cracks her knuckles, familiar with the town guard style of settling this stuff. Goes up to asshole number 2 and throws a kick in his chest. 14.
That's going to miss.
Alright, that's it for Juliet.
Alright, so you take a kick at asshole number 2 here, and since he's like bobbing and weaving and having trouble standing anyway, he's kind of got like this drunken master luck going on, and your foot flashes out in front of him, and he's like, whoa, and he's going to take his mace and try to swing at your leg. That's a 15.
That does not hit.
And a 23.
That does hit.
For 13 points of damage.
Ouch.
Next up is Alunodas.
I can do this all evening, motherfuckers. Alright, time to punch Asshole 1 again. That's a 26.
That hits.
There's 6 more damage. Only a 14.
That's going to miss.
Okay, and the last punch, well, my last regular punch. Ooh, crit. That's going to be 12 damage and 15 on the crit table.
One target drops weapon and must use a move action to pick it up, but it doesn't matter because you just knocked this dude on his ass.
Alright. Okay, let's see, you want to double check. I think I'm going to double check what my bonus strike can do. I think my bonus strike can be used against anyone, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to not use it because I don't think that would be kosher. Instead, I'm just going to use my move action to flank asshole 2 with Juliet.
Okay.
Basically, run around the end of the bar.
All right, so as you run around so you're running this way down the bar and then back around, kind of like
Yep.
a J. Okay. Next up is asshole 3 is going to run over here to Juliet and take a swing. The first one is an 11 and the second one is an 18.
18 will hit.
Okay, so that'll be for 7 damage as asshole takes a dagger and stabs you in the arm. Next up is Juliet.
All right.
Before you go, since we're back to the top of the round, Talia, give me a perception check.
Okay. A 9.
Yeah, you hear some horses in the stable and Abbott's barking, but that's about it. Juliet, you're up.
Alrighty, so Juliet will, even though asshole 2 just hit her with a hefty blow, asshole 3 had to get in close with that dagger, so she's gonna throw a punch at him, non-lethal. It's a 19 to hit.
That hits.
That will be for 4 damage, and then Juliet will use her action surge to take another swing at him. That is a 25 to hit.
That hits.
For another 4 damage.
All right.
And that will end Juliet's turn.
Okay, so this guy stabs you in the arm, and you just sucker punch him with a left jab, and then come up with a right hook, and you see his jaw kind of displace a little bit, and then he cracks his neck and says, "You're gonna pay for that," as you think he didn't feel a lot of it because of the alcohol. Next up is asshole 2, who is going to see Alunodas run around the side of the bar, so he's going to spin and take his mace and try to attack Alunodas. So first swing goes wide, and then the second swing does a 18 hit your armor class?
Not with my boots. Haha. It gives me +2 to AC, right? The haste?
Believe so.
Okay.
It's either +2 or +3.
Either way, 20 wouldn't, or 18 wouldn't hit.
Okay. So both attacks with this mace go wide as you definitely dodge out of the way. And you're up.
Alright, time to beat the fuck out of asshole 2. Alright, first hit is a 20
That hits.
for 8 damage. Then the next one is 21, thank you, advantage, for 9 more damage. Ooh, another crit for 14 more damage.
All right.
Aw, a 1 on the crit roll.
Nothing. It does nothing.
So, let's see. Oh, and the bonus strike. Another crit. 13 more damage.
Okay. Go ahead and roll the crit table.
And it's 16 on the crit table.
What just happened? Target automatically loses concentration, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter, because you punch this guy, twice in the stomach, and then, do this crazy, haymaker, and you see this guy come up off of his feet and fall down to the ground unconscious.
Alright, and now I'm going to, basically roll up the length of the bar to get past these 2, sleeping people to get behind asshole 3.
All right. Next
that's
up
my
is asshole 3, who starts to size up this situation, and now sees that he is flanked, is going to take off running for this door.
This will go well.
We get attacks of opportunity. Juliet is going to make her attack of opportunity as a grapple.
Okay, give me a strength check.
Give me that natural 1. Woo!
he got a 9. so,
Nice.
so you only beat him, or he just beat you by 2. So you reach out and like try to grab him by the arm, but he's still got like this drunken master luck thing going on. So he slips out of his coat. So you're just left holding this guy's like dirty leather coat as he starts stumbling towards the door. Alunodas, take your attack opportunity.
Alright, I'm going to punch the fuck out of him. Unless I have advantage, that probably misses.
You have advantage, so that's a hit.
Okay, 24 is 8, and I'm going to go ahead and spend a chi point for a stunning strike, which he has a constitution save, DC 14, to avoid being stunned.
He got a 12. So as he starts to run away, Juliet grabs his arm and he slides out of his jacket and has spun around, and as he spins around, Alunodas just gives him an uppercut to the jaw, and then you just see him stumble around in place, like back and forth.
So he's stunned until the end of my next turn.
Juliet, you're up.
Alright, Juliet's gonna try and grapple him again. This time with a 15.
I don't even think he can do anything against that since he's stunned. Because he'd have to do a athletics or strength check, which he can't do if he's stunned.
He automatically fails strength and dexterity saving throws.
So, yeah.
I guess he's incapacitated, so yeah.
Yep, so he's grappled.
Fantastic. That's it for Juliet.
Alright, Alunodas.
Alright. I'm not above kicking a man while he's down or punching him while he's grappled by a big angry dragonborn, so let's punch him some more. Another crit.
Wow, it's 3 for you.
Yep. So that's 14 damage.
And what was your crit table?
11 on the table.
That is lightning strike. You attack so quickly that you get a free melee basic attack. So go ahead and punch him again.
Only 10.
That's going to miss.
So for my next regular attack, got a 16.
That's going to hit.
Alright, for 8 more damage. And a 22 for 5 more damage. That's
Okay.
total of 29.
So
And wait, I also have a bonus strike if he's still conscious.
he's not. So Juliet grabs a hold of this stunned ruffian that's swaying back and forth, and she grabs him up underneath the arms and turns him around towards Alunodas. And Alunodas, you carefully like take this measured punch like you're working a speed bag, and you're just like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da on this dude's face, and then you just see his legs just like turn to jelly as Juliet like holds him up for a second and then just drops him to the floor.
I will never understand why civilized people behave so badly.
Alunodas, what did you do?
I was defending the helpless.
And
Really?
Around this time, Jared's going to come out of the back and say, I can't thank you enough. That was absolutely amazing. They were in here causing trouble all day long, and I knew the guards weren't going to help me, and then you came along. I really can't thank you enough. You have a free stay anytime you want here. No charge.
Thank you, good sir.
You did
Is
a good
this about
deed here
when-
this day.
Is this about when Talia would be walking in from training Abbott?
Have you seen that The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield?
I saw the first one.
Okay, so there's like this one scene where Spider-Man and the Lizard are fighting in this library, and there's all this chaos going on, and Stan Lee's making this cameo where he's like listening to a record with headphones and is completely
I have
oblivious
seen
to
that.
everything going on.
I
That's
recall
you.
this, yes.
So, about this time, Talia's going to come walking in, and Juliet and Alunodas are just standing over top of these 4 bodies, and Alunodas is kind of breathing hard.
Did I
And
miss
I could have
something?
danced all night. I could have danced all night.
Talia's gonna say, did I miss something?
Yeah, you missed an epic fight. You should have seen your friend Elf over here. He was like a whirlwind of fist. It was amazing.
Oh,
You
man.
didn't miss too much, Talia. He's not a real fight. Nothing to compare to the paladin and the ghosts.
No, but I missed my chance to stab people. That makes me sad.
I don't know that they really deserve to die. Maybe a little light stabbing would have done them some good.
And about this time, Jared's going to say, well, I'm going to go get the town guard and have them move the ruffians out of here and put them in the jail. They're not up too much for a scrap, but they can move some bodies.
Yeah, we'll need to move these out. Just put them on the outside of the tavern or throw them out in the street. Honestly, I don't care.
And you're going to hear Jared call the back and say, get out here. And you're going to see that 14-year-old boy come out, and he's going to look around the room and see all these bodies, and he's going to say, what happened? Did you all do this?
Apparently they started it, but right now we need your help. Dragging these guys into the street. They're not welcome back here.
Oh, yeah, I could do that. I'll go get the cart from the stables. And he's going to walk over here past Talia and just give her the eyes. And as he walks
Alunodas
by,
is going to narrow his.
you don't see it.
Talia's gonna
never mind.
swoon a little, though.
And a couple minutes later, he comes back with a cart and brings it inside. You're able to take some of these unconscious men outside and lay them out on the ground. He says, watch the bar for a bit. I'm going to go get the guard.
Alunodas is going to lay a hand on the boy's shoulder. I hear you're something of a lady killer.
No, sir. I don't kill no
Yeah.
ladies.
Uncle
That's
Luno,
good
that
to
still
hear.
doesn't mean what you think it means.
Well, I'm just making sure. I know how these civilized types are. And he's going to nudge the unconscious people with his foot.
Are you going to hurt me too?
Oh, I don't
No,
see why.
no,
You're not
he's
going to
not.
do anything, are you?
No.
Then I would have no reason whatsoever to hurt you. That's a
Talia's
good
just
boy.
going to like put her blush really, really hard and put her head in her palm and be like, "Oh my god."
You know, helping us out with these bodies would be get the cart and stuff. Maybe you could talk it over at dinner with one of my companions. Maybe Talia would be interested. You know, just as a fun reward.
Sure, we've got some great rabbit stew.
Talia's gonna pipe up. That sounds delicious. Maybe after dinner I can show you my puppy.
Oh, you got a puppy?
I do. His name's Abbott, and he's adorable.
Oh, that'd be great. I had a puppy once.
Alunodas is just watching all of this with a very unhappy, slightly angry expression, looking from one to the other like, what the fuck is going on?
What, like human communication and interaction?
Yeah, why are they so friendly with this killer of ladies?
Says the killer of priests.
They deserve it. And they weren't Talia.
So about 20 minutes goes by, and you're all standing outside, and the town guard comes up, and they've got a cart and a horse, and they're all like, what's all this then?
Drunk ruffians making trouble.
Yeah, get that fair share of those this time of year.
You know how people are. Don't hit them too hard. Just, you know.
Nah, wouldn't
Get 'em
do
outta
much
here.
good. They're not going to feel it. And he says, okay, boys, let's get them in the cots. And they take these 4 ruffians and put them in the back of this cart and say, they'll sleep it off in the jail. If you want to press charges tomorrow morning, just come up by the gates at the barracks.
Oh, no, that won't be necessary at all. Our beating, I'm sure, was more than enough, and any damages we will pay for.
Suit yourself. Either way, they're going to be sleeping it off in the cooler tonight.
Thank you kindly.
Well, Alunodas is going to sidle up to one of them and say, "Look out for the kid. I hear he's a lady killer."
And the guard is going to look at you and say, "Right. I do not think that word means what you think it means."
Why do people keep saying that? It's so straightforward. I'm going to walk inside.
And the guards are is going to get the cart moving, and you see it travel up the road. And Jarek's going to turn to Juliet and Talia, who are still outside here, and say, "I meant what I said. Anytime you want to stay here, it's on the house. Thank you so much for your help."
Thank you. I should give you some gold for anything that was damaged there. We kind of did contribute to that, so...
Nah, it was just a couple of crocs and some bottles. It'll be okay.
Alright, if you're sure. We thank you for your hospitality. It's been wonderful. Really, I don't mean that sarcastically.
You're not talking to Alunodas.
Well, you should probably go upstairs and get cleaned up. We'll be serving dinner here soon.
Of course. Thank you. And Juliet will head inside. Juliet will want to have a chat with her old friend, who she's known for so long now.
Her oldest living friend, probably at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, she's still got... Well, no, they probably aren't her friends anymore. Guards back in Kala.
Yeah, probably not. So Juliet will knock on your door, or Alexander, knock knock. Anyone there?
Yeah, I'm in here.
Oh, good. How are you feeling?
I mean, despite coming off the whole death thing, pretty well, actually.
Good to hear. I actually wanted to talk to you a little bit about, Kala.
Sure, before that, what was the whole noise thing downstairs? It got me all rustled up.
Oh, just a little tavern brawl. Nothing we couldn't handle. Sorry, I would have invited you, but in your condition, I don't think it's a good idea. In any case, I actually wanted to ask you, I don't know that much about your past at all. Your family, your likes, your dislikes, your dreams. I'm just a little curious.
I don't like to talk about the past much. I'm just a wandering bard. They got all hassled up in this ruin thing.
We both did. Do you have any plans for the future at all? I mean, individual plans, not the going to Faydale and all of that stuff that we've all agreed on.
I'm more of a go-with-the-flow kind of guy, Besides, once Ruin comes back, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I suppose. So, where are you on the spectrum of okay with Ruin coming back and destroying the world?
I'm kind of indifferent.
Really? You're indifferent?
I'm too far into this whole bringing Ruin back thing to really go back, We got our good boy across the room who is going to keep us to our word of bringing Ruin axes back. So it's a little out of my hands at this point.
But I'm not asking the practicality. I'm asking how you actually feel about it. Are you really just... you don't care?
We all pass at one point. Let's just hope that the gods actually take care of us on the other side.
What kind of god do you follow anyway?
Checking your character sheet?
A little bit. Did I even notate that?
I don't think Talia follows a god.
Is Juliet teaching her about Tiamat?
No. Juliet doesn't want to get her into the whole religion thing. Given the whole Ruin thing is also a religion thing, so keeping her away from that's probably the best idea.
Hypocrite.
Juliet keeps her faith very, very strong. So strong, she remembers to donate to the church. Every decade.
Goes twice a year for the ritual sacrifices.
Exactly. Sorry, I interrupted you, Alexander.
No, I never notated what god he follows. Never actually went through and actually chose one for my guy. So I guess he
What
doesn't.
kind of god
just
would he
doesn't
follow? Or is he just a sort of general believer?
I guess a general believer.
Really? So you're not throwing your lot in with any of the, things that we know are actually real?
Yeah, I mean, none of them have helped me out too much.
Has your past been that tragic and bad?
Yeah, parents had a bad run-in with some debt collectors.
Dare I ask if you're still in debt to them?
I mean, to be in debt, you have to believe that they are who you say you are.
Well, they do have our names postered up everywhere, so...
Who's to say this is my real name?
You do bring up a good point. I don't know, do you have a real name, or is this one of your aliases, or...
I'm not too sure what my original name is. I've changed names a good number of times so far. Can't have them finding me,
A shapeshifter in some ways, not literally. Are you a shapeshifter, actually?
No, but that's exactly what a shapeshifter would say.
You do bring up a good point. If I stab you with silver, it should work extra well, so... don't get near that silverware.
Could you not stab me with silver, please?
I will not, but I might tell Alunodas and he might test it. I'm just kidding, I would never do that to you. Yet. How have I guess what have you been up to? Other than sleeping, have you been thinking or, practicing your tunes or whatever it is that you bards do with magic or swordplay?
Yeah, I've been transforming this whole magical instrument thing. In hindsight, probably not the best choice for any actual wish that I could want. But yeah, I'm making all these goofy instrument things, like half piano, half keyboard. Well, half piano, half accordions. Just a bunch of wacky stuff.
Interesting. Well, we are having dinner soon. Maybe you could play something for us?
I'd have to ask you to help me down. I'm not one of the walking sword at the moment.
Yeah, of course. I'll help you down.
All right, so I guess you guys go downstairs and have dinner. And that right there is probably a pretty good place to stop.
Cool. Maybe Alexander could swat up a quick song about our tales, telling the tale of our exploits these past few days. Killing the paladin, clearing up the haunted house, and as a little coda, defending a local bar.
But he wasn't there?
A bard should never be hampered by truth or facts.
Fair.
And I think that's probably a pretty good place to end it. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. If I could ask a halfling-sized favor, give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It's the best way to support us. New episodes come out every Monday, so make sure to check your podcast app. Do you have an idea to make the podcast better? Tell us about it on Twitter or Facebook. You can also check out our website to see all the maps, lore, and characters at dungeonsanddebaclespodcast.com. And now a word from our fantasy sponsor. After a long day in the fields or the mines, all you want to do is visit the tavern with your mates and relax. You need an ale that won't fill you up or empty your purse. Ask your barkeep for a Conley Light. It's made by Master Dwarven brewers with the finest ingredients from the Plains Nation. It's a refreshing, crisp ale that will quench your thirst, and you can feel good about drinking tankard after tankard without that full feeling you get from other ales. So you can keep going all night. For better times at a better price, Conley Light.
So it got me thinking who Talia, like the whole talk of religion and gods, it got me thinking who Talia would follow.
Selene, demigoddess of outcasts.
Oh, I was thinking Merkul, god of death. His symbol is the white human skull. Or Shah, goddess of death, darkness, and loss. Goddess of darkness and loss. She's the goddess of death and trickery.
Is there a god of stabbing?
I think there are two of them. One is Mask, and the other one is what's his name? Ball. Ball is murder, and Mask is like thieves, and it might even be knives directly, but...
Mask is the god of thieves, but he's chaotic neutral. I'm not sure I could follow him.
Raven Queen might not be a bad one either.
Remember that time we went to the Raven Queen temple and killed everyone?
It was a
Good
desecrated temple, I think.
There was a necromancer of Orcus that was there that was trying to desecrate it, and then you stopped her before she could, and then Alexander desecrated the temple.
I do remember that.
There was also a pool of radiance that we took a bath in.
Vito did.
The Dark Six, of the Dark Six, 4 of them are neutral evil. Probably the Mockery, Destruction, Domination, Evil, Illusion, Trickery, and War.
Is that the Eberron campaign gods?
No idea. I'm on the dnd5e.fandom.com with the gods of the multiverse.
Gotcha, okay. I don't know what Kevin's universe has in terms of gods.
I think we're doing Forgotten Realms type gods.
Yeah, I mean, basically anything that you want to pick out of here of, like, I'm on the Dungeons and Dragons deity wiki. I like, Zahir, evil god of darkness and poison, favored deity of the, Yuan-Ti and patron of assassins.
Ooh, can you, can you link the page?
Just put it in Roll20.
Zahir, god of darkness and poison. That would be pretty good. If she were ever to actually pick a god.
Yeah, she's had a pretty hard life. I don't know how much she would believe in gods at this point. She would have to be like a convert, I would think.
Yeah, and when does she have time for that?
Or to actually even hear about this god. You become a paladin, become a paladin of Zahir. The music you heard on this episode was Folk Round, Teller of the Tales, and Mystery Bazaar by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. CreativeCommons.org/licenses/by/3.0.